2.5 years ago, Andy and I were tasked at AON to build a people analytics capability. And our first focus was the tech industry and the life sciences industry, and what some of you may know as the Radford data. And I'll get to that in a minute. So where are we now? We actually built a multi-million-dollar business out of that. We were asked to export what we learned to other parts of AON. And we have a lot of content, multiple presentations, and it was just a great ride so far. And we thought we're going to share that story with you today, not just because it's a great story that helps us tell you what we are doing and how we help our clients, and hopefully you, but it's also a good story about people analytics in general, because ultimately the things that you need in consulting to be successful are pretty much the same that you need in corporate to be successful. This is my mental model that I've been used for about 15 years when I created people analytics capabilities, twice in corporate and twice in consulting. And I think most of the terms sound very familiar to you, I'm sure. First of all, there are 3 tools. There's the data. And the data, well, is something that we don't own, but we can take some sort of ownership if we are successful in converting it and visualizing so that our clients can use it. Of course, we also have to convince our clients that the data is not as messy as they thought it might be. There's analytics, which today starts to become pretty much par for the course, you know. Most of us know analytics. What is a key differentiator still, however, is our capability to convert the analytics and information that people can use. And then there's technology. And technology, I would say, is the most dynamic part of what we're doing. As you know, right now there's so much energy on that, and if you don't work with technology, you might end up competing with it eventually, and that's not a good place to be. But besides all of these things, our tools, there's the big context here. And most of these words and sentences you probably heard before. One key thing is if you do people analytics, you have to deal with rejection. We all probably have to do this all the times. But the most important thing that we did that was a success for us was not to create a conversation, but to join it. To pay attention to what other people are saying and what they need, and then see how you can deploy data analytics to help them. So most of what we'll be talking about is the conversations that we have joined over the last 2.5 years that really helped us put us on the map. The first one was a very simple one. It's basically our clients send us their data every year. And they ask us, look, all we get back is compensation benchmarks. Isn't there something else we could get back? On to Andy.
Yeah. So one of the awesome things about working at AON is the data that we have. And Radford, if you may have heard, if you work with any of your compensation professionals in your teams, is a compensation benchmarking survey. So we collect data at the incumbent level globally across a number of tech companies and life sciences as well. So it accounts to about maybe some 3,000 to 4,000 companies where we're collecting a lot of data at the employee level. But what's also great about this data is the mapped common job taxonomy that we have. So if you're thinking about how you compare to your market or getting that benchmark, you really are looking, when you're thinking about, let's say, a software engineer management level 3, you really are comparing yourself to the similar job in the market as well. So the common taxonomy is really important, but also the survey has been around for maybe 40 plus years. And so, of course, we can build trending and have that year-over-year capability as well. So talking about that, if we can get to the next slide, year-over-year was great, and we saw this as a kind of an opportunity to think about, well, what can we do more from a people analytics perspective as it relates to the data that we have in our comp survey. And so we built this new product on the back end of last year. It's the organizational risk scorecard. And this scorecard, really, what we did was built an algorithm to see how employees move over time. So maybe they are moving into an organization, up the organization, or even out the organization to give you those mobility rates. So if you're looking for hiring rates, turnover rates, promotion rates, or even transfers into where employees are moving from one job family to an entirely different job family, we can actually get that data now for the first time. Also, we collect gender and age, so if you're looking for benchmarks on the composition of the gender and maybe the generation in your organization, we also have that, as well as tenure. And then one other interesting aspect is getting benchmark or industry data on management ratios. So as an organization, you're probably always wanting to know what is the right span of control or the number of layers in our organization, and how do we compare to our peers or in the industry. And so this organizational risk scorecard really kind of gives you that slice and dice capability where you can look at, let's say, your engineering workforce that are management of, let's say, the millennial generation that are female. And so you can get all these different mobility, composition, management ratios across those different aspects.
Yeah, think about turnover rate for data scientists in Los Angeles that are experienced by gender. That's probably the most interesting benchmark data that I came across. So what are the other topics that we have been pursuing? Pay equity. I'm sure you all heard about that one. Gender pay equity is a major topic, especially in tech and life sciences out here in the West. So what we have done to get a foothold in that topic, we went back to our Radford data, and we analyzed whether there is in fact a gender pay gap in our tech industries. This is real data that you see there. That's the real gender pay gap for 2 sub-industries within tech in the US, just about 5%. This is based on a regression model, all else equal. Same job, same experience, same whatever. So we took this to our clients to get more credibility, but also because we were able to calibrate this model for the industry, we can deploy this very quickly and efficiently for our client. And by the way, and that's unique, we can also tell our clients, hey, we see a gender pay gap. If you want to compare that to your peer group, we can help you with that. The next part of that conversation then was diversity inclusion, which usually naturally comes from pay equity. And there, what we can help our clients with is help them see how their gender distribution compares to other organizations, to their peers. But again, very detailed, by job, by region, by experience levels, you name it. We can also track this over time and project it out because we have information on turnover for women versus men, promotion rates, lateral transfer rates, hire rates, and so forth. For an industry, for your peer group, again, it's pretty unique data. Another conversation that we have joined is the conversation about tight labor markets. You all heard about location analysis, and there's certainly a lot of data out there. But the data that we have is really, again, especially for tech organizations, quite unique because of our coverage. We can tell you where the largest tech organizations in the world employ their people and what they experience. So what they experience in terms of what kind of people do they employ there? How much are they being paid? Is there pay premiums for new hires when you compare them with established employees? Is that pay premium changing over time, et cetera? And then last but not least, a conversation that we joined around employee wellness. To me, a really fascinating story, which started with the conversations with health and benefits folks who told me that there's really not a lot of evidence out there linking health and wellness to productivity. So we had that data, and we looked at the data, first for one organization, and then that story got published at World at Work. It turned into a company, AON company-wide hackathon in Singapore. We replicated that data. By the way, the results here, those are t-values for those of you who wonder. And what we basically found when we quantified the impact of health and wellness on productivity, we found that modest improvements on productivity, modest improvements in health and wellness drive up productivity by about 5%. We found that in 2 different data sets. And as I said, in Singapore, those were about 50 people divided up into 5 groups who looked at the data and confirmed it. Health and wellness is a bigger driver for productivity than engagement. Imagine that. So, by the way, because we grow so much, we are hiring. I don't know if I said that before. So if you're looking for new challenges, let us know. But of course, all of this is available to you. Andy's in San Francisco, I'm in Los Angeles. Give us a call if you want to talk. Thank you.